right, it's time to turn attention to African football as countries across the continent are stepping up preparation for their 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers in Ivory Coast. On that note, I welcome you to another exciting time on Nigeria Super Fans Forum. My name remains Ashalolu Afemi, and first of all, we would like to thank all of you for keeping faith with us. We do not in any way take it for granted from everywhere around the world. Thank you for your admonition, for your correction, for your suggestions. Of course, we owe those very, very dearly. Okay, let's get started. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria are, of course, stepping up preparation. Before I begin, of course, James Agberibe is still on official assignment, so he's not available today. So we are going to be doing this together, not just me right there. We're going to be doing it together because there'll be so much to respond to on the show today. Okay, so the Super Eagles of Nigeria are, of course, stepping up preparation for the game against Guinea-Bissau. Remember, this current fixture is going to be back-to-back for all the countries on the continent, and the Black Stars as well as are gearing up for their game today against Angola at the Baba Yara Stadium in Kumasi. So for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, well, 2 days ago, there was an incident at the National Stadium in Abuja, and that is what the whole world has been talking about, where the generating set that powers the facility refused to come on, and it abruptly ended the training. And the Super Eagles had to, for about an hour, train under darkness, so to say. Not very dark though, but the area wasn't illuminated at all. And that really, really infuriated head coach Ose Pesero and the team. Of course, apart from that, the team had to leave the facility in an 80-seater bus rather than the branded bus for the national team. But of course, the players have been talking to Victor Osimhen, Semi Ajayi, Ademola Lookman, and of course, a lot of them are saying that they are really looking forward to the game. We'll see Victor Osimhen has promised to rain down goals on Guinea-Bissau. I'm sure that must be sending some shivers to the camp of Guinea-Bissau, who are already in town for that game. That game will be taking place tomorrow at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja. Okay, let's go to the other game in Group A now. Yesterday, Sierra Leone and Sao Tome played a 2-2 draw. That really came as a surprise because everyone expected Sierra Leone, of course, to take Sao Tome to the cleaners. But this is football, you just can't say. So in this game with Super Eagles and the Guinea-Bissau, if the Super Eagles can get a victory, I think that would take them a step closer to another appearance at AFCON. Now, let's take a trip to Ghana, where so much is happening with Chris Otin, who is going to be taking charge of his official first game as the head coach of the Black Stars today at the Bayara Sports Stadium. He's been talking, and of course, Inaki Williams has urged fans to turn out in the number to support the Black Stars. Yesterday, we saw in the final training as the Black Stars were trying to tight all the loose ends. Fans turned out in the numbers to watch the team play, and it was a fit training. So it was, of course, everyone was allowed in, and they all saw what, at least maybe a sneak peek into what they should be expecting today from the Black Stars. And Chris Wooten is again saying that he wouldn't guarantee a win or a trophy yet, but he will ensure that Ghanaians see a team that is ready to give everything to secure a win. And again, Angola coach, I'm talking about Pedro Goncalves, I said his team do not fear the Black Stars. He said they do not fear the Black Stars of Ghana. And quickly, I take a quote from him. He said, after 2 rounds of matches, we are leading the group with Ghana because both teams have 4 points after 2 games. He said, very soon, I will be playing round 4 and round 5 against the favorite of the group. Surely, it will be very difficult. It will be a very difficult game, but we do not have to be afraid. If we want to compete with the big teams, let's play football and try to beat Ghana. So, of course, Angola, they're also in town right there at the stadium. And of course, the Chris Wooten are saying that it's going to be amazing feeling for him to get his first win in his first game as the head coach of the Black Stars. And really, talking about some of the things he said in the pre-match presser yesterday, he said, we know as a team and as the players, we have the responsibility to return this, and the supporters must enjoy what they see. He said, I can never guarantee results, but mostly they will see a team that is giving everything to get a result. So still talking about Ghana, is going to be a very busy few days for Ghana football because today the Black Stars will be playing. Tomorrow, the Black Meteors will be hosting Algeria in the 2023 in the AFCON under 23 AFCON qualifier, and that tournament will be serving as a qualifier for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. So on Monday also, the Black Stars will be playing the return leg against Angola, while on Tuesday, the Black Meteors will be, of course, taking a trip to Algeria. So it's going to be very busy few days for Ghana football. I'm still talking about the under-23 for Nigeria here. It didn't end well yesterday, where the under-23 were forced to a goalless draw against Guinea right here in Nigeria. And to the displeasure of a lot of Nigerians, who has really turned on the coach Salisu Yusuf. Remember, it was the same coach Salisu Yusuf who took charge of the CHAN qualifiers where Ghana denied Nigeria of an appearance. Remember, Senegal won that championship. So Nigerians have turned on Coach Salisu. A lot of Nigerians have been asking, how did he even become a coach? And what merit was he appointed to even get that job? He's also an assistant coach in the Super Eagles of Nigeria. He's the coach of the CHAN team, as well as the under-23 team, just one man. Remember, I think we've raised this issue on the show before, and that is what we talk about, Africans putting square peg in round holes. Okay, so let's continue with talking about the Ghana football. Something happened recently. Remember Felix Afena-Gyan? Something very ugly happened recently because the GFA invited him to join the under-23 team. Remember, I told you they will be playing tomorrow against Algeria. He was invited and he rejected the call-up. Yeah, rejected the call-up, even though his Syria club Cremonese they have accepted the invitation, and the GFA had sent all the necessary travel requirements that Afena-Gyan needed, but he turned it down. And it hasn't come very well with a lot of people in Ghana. Remember, the 20-year-old was part of the team used by Otuado to secure qualification for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. And Otuado overlooked him while he was picking his final 26-man list for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. And I think that didn't also go well with Afena-Gyan, who maybe if he feels that it deserved to play in the Black Stars. But excuse me. But before then, you look at what happened before all these things found out. He wasn't getting enough playing time under Jose Mourinho at AS Roma. Then Roma sold him to Cremonese for about, I think, 7 million euros last season. Even at Cremonese, most times he doesn't even get playing time. I remember that Nigeria's David Okereke usually even get the nod in the starting level ahead of him. So it's not really a good time for Felix Afena-Gyan right now. And I'm hoping that it wouldn't be a situation where another talented Black Star will be turning his back on his country. Remember, we've had a couple of Black Stars players who are really turning their back on the national team. So I hope that in the next few days, that is going to be resolved, or there will be some compromise somewhere. But he has turned down the invitation to join the under-23 team. I'm sure in his mind, he thinks that he once played in the Black Stars. Why do you now want to bring me to the under-23? I don't know what you think, particularly for our Ghanaian fans around the world. What do you think about it? Do you think Afena-Gyan has the moral right to deny call-up from his country, regardless of what level, what national team is being invited to play in? I wouldn't know, because even right here in Nigeria, I remember Gift Orban, the guy who plays for Ghent, he's been on fire, and a lot of Nigerians called for his invitation to the Super Eagles for this AFCON qualifier against Guinea-Bissau. But I think Jose Pesero perhaps maybe feels he's too young, just 20 years, and he feels that he has options in the attack. You have Victor Osimhen, you have Paul Onuachu, you have Terry Murphy, you have Kelechi Iheanacho, you have a whole lot of options for you. And perhaps this Salisu Yusuf, who failed to record a win against Guinea yesterday, perhaps he spoke to Pesero, and Pesero said, okay, why not invite him? And of course, Giftobin was invited, but Ghent didn't allow Orban to come because they said that the invitation from the NFF got to them very late. Let's see, though the young man has actually played his future to Nigeria ahead of Togo, according to what we're learning. But let's see what happens. But in the case of Felix Afena-Gyan, do you think he has any moral right to turn down a call of duty from his country, regardless of which national team is being invited to play for. You are 20 years and you're being invited to play for under 23. I do not think that is too much to ask, even if you've played in the national team before. Let's see what happens in the next couple of days. Okay, recently there was an incident in Egypt football. I don't know if a lot of you followed that incident where a referee was seen using a phone of a fan to review an action that led to a goal. I don't know if a lot of you followed that incident in Egypt. Of course, referee Mohamed Farouk, he was officiating a second division game between Suez and, of course, Al Nassr in the second division. And, of course, while the host, which is Al Nassr, were 2 goals up, then Suez got an equalizer in the dying minutes of the game. And there were a lot of protests. So out of a lot of, just imagine that kind of scenario in African football, in which the home fans started calling on the referee, started protesting the goal. Eventually, he was forced to look to use the phone of a fan to check the replay, and he saw that there was a handball in the build-up to the goal, and he cancelled the goal, denying the visitors a late equalizer in the game. But that hasn't gone well with the Egyptian FA, and they've said, no, this is not going to stand. This is unacceptable. And this is another talking point on the show, apart from the Felix Afena-Gyan rejecting the national team call-up from Ghana. Now, the Egyptian FA, or the Egypt FA, I should say, they failed to provide a video assistant referee for this official. But it decided that in the spirit of fairness, it is best he used what is available, at least to check the build-up to the goal. And he found out that there was a handball in the build-up to the goal, and he rightly, according to Daily Mail, he rightly disallowed the goal. But that hasn't gone well with the GNFA, and he has been suspended, not even for 2 months, not even for 3 months, not even for a month, or not even for 1 week, indefinitely. According to the Egyptian FA head of referee, Victor Pereira, it was Pereira who replaced the head of Egypt's referees committee. Remember, Mark Clattenburg, the former Premier League referee, was the one in charge of the Egypt referees committee. But after he left, they brought in Victor Pereira, and Victor Pereira said this is unacceptable, and he said that the referee and the entire the officials in that game, including the linesmen and the fourth official, they have been suspended for an indefinite period. Now, what do you think about this? It's quite hilarious, at the same time very disturbing, because if the referee decides to use his maybe intuition, so to say, to see if the protesting fans, the home fans who were protesting that there was some kind of injustice leading to the goal, calling on him to look at the incident that panned out before the goal, and he decided to use a phone of a fan, and he's been suspended for that. Now, should the Egypt FA have preferred if he had just decided to allow the goal stand? That is the question. What do you think? Who do you think is at fault? Is it the fault of the GFA, who didn't provide a video assistant referee for the center referee at least to use in that game? Or would you blame the center referee for at least deciding to use the phone of a fan to see the replay and made the right decision? What do you think? Please, we would like to know what you think in that regard. Yesterday, 2 games were played in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. Particularly, the one that struck me most was the Benin Republic hosting Rwanda. I saw very beautiful football from the 2 countries, but unfortunately, Rwanda, they denied former Super Eagles technical advisor Coach Genotro a very befitting debut, because yesterday in that game was his debut as the head coach of the Cheetahs of Benin Republic. Remember, they've changed their name from the Scurries. They say they've been a prey for too long, so it's time to be a predator. So they changed their name to Cheetahs. So it was denied a win and he said he was disappointed to get a win in his first game as the head coach of the Benin Republic national team. But they got a late equalizer because Rwanda led for most of the period of the game. And I saw beautiful game of football, particularly from Rwanda. I was actually impressed because Rwanda is not a power, so to say. They are neither football powers in Africa nor minors, but I saw very good coordinated football. They also have a foreign coach, but nonetheless, I saw very good football from Rwanda. So that game ended 1-0. Quickly, we'll give you fixtures, the other fixtures for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations that will be taking place today, tomorrow. Okay, so let's get started. First, Morocco will not be in action in all of the fixtures that will be taking place on the continent this weekend because they have an international friendly against Brazil on Saturday. That is what you get when you finish as fourth in a FIFA World Cup. Remember, I think since Morocco finished fourth, became the first African country to play in the semi-final of the FIFA World Cup. Their fortune in international football has really risen, and they will be playing. How many African countries get to play friendly with Brazil? I can't count. Seriously. Oh, I should say you can count on your Brazil. But so Morocco will be playing on Saturday, and it will be interesting to see Ashraf Hakimi playing that game. Remember the case regarding rape issue that is being indicted for in France is still lingering right there. So let's really look at other fixtures on the continent. We have Madagascar. They will be playing Central African Republic. That game will be very, very important. Or now I should say the Black Stars will be looking at that game with one eye. Remember, that is going to be another tie in Group E. So Madagascar and the Central African Republic. Remember, the Central African Republic, they denied Ghana victory in the last game in the qualifier. So Madagascar will be hosting Central African Republic. Congo will be taking on South Sudan. Zambia will be taking on Lesotho. That is an all Southern African affair. Gabon will be hosting Sudan. Then Algeria will be taking on Niger Republic. Nigeria and Guinea-Bissau. Of course, we've told you about that game as far as preparation for that game is concerned right in Nigeria. That will be taking place tomorrow at the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. And of course, like the GFA, remember we told you last week that the GFA, they've done a downward review of the gate fee for that game against Angola. So also the Nigerian Football Federation, they've also done the same right here in Abuja. So it's between 1,000 naira and 2,000 naira for fans to be interested to go see the Super Eagles play in that game. And Victor Osimhen, in the build up to the game yesterday in an interview with the Nigerian Football Federation TV, he said that they are ready to win back the confidence of Nigeria, to put smiles on the faces of Nigeria. Remember that a lot of Nigerians are still disappointed that the Super Eagles failed to play at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Of course, the Black Stars denied us that one. Okay, in other fixtures, we have Uganda. They will be taking on Tanzania. Guinea will be taking on Ethiopia. South Africa will be taking on Liberia. I think it's going to be another spotlight on South Africa because particularly the men have not been doing well. The Bafana, they have not been doing well as much as the Bafana. So that is going to be another attention on the Bafana, right? Then the DR Congo will be taking on Mauritania. Ivory Coast, who are just playing for formality, perhaps just to keep body and soul together, like we say here. It's going to be just a dead rubber game. They'll be taking on Comoros. Then Cape Verde will be taking on Eswatini. And for this game, 4 Ghana referees have been slated to take charge of this game. Yeah, between Cape Verde, as they are called, and Eswatini, they'll be taking charge of that game. Then Egypt will be taking on Malawi. Equatorial Guinea will be taking on Botswana. Cameroon, Namibia. That is going to be another litmus test for Rigo Bansong. There has been so much debate regarding his merit as the coach of the Indomitable Lions. Remember, recently he marked 1 year in charge, and we also saw how it ended for the Indomitable Lions at the 2022 FIFA World Cup. So a lot of Cameroonians are still questioning why Samuel Eto'o decided to appoint Rigo Bansong as the coach of the Black Stars. They are simply saying, as the Indomitable Lions, sorry, and they are simply saying that the Indomitable Lions deserve better. So they'll be taking on Namibia. That is going to be another game to look out for them. Mali will be taking on Gambia. Senegal, who are the king of African football. You can't deny that fact. at the moment, under 20 champions, Africa beach soccer champions, Chan champions, and of course the champion, the holders of AFCON in Africa, 4 major trophies in Africa at the moment. So they are the king of Africa. They've been the most ranked African football country in the world by FIFA for, I think, for a few years now. So you can't deny that fact. They will be having a date with Mozambique in one of their very, very wonderful sporting facility right there. So Tunisia will be taking on Libya. That's another North African affair. Then Burkina Faso, they'll be taking on Togo. Togo reminds me of Emmanuel Asheyadeba, who recently said they call time on football after so many years playing for Arsenal, Man City, and Real Madrid. So, of course, we've talked about Rwanda ruining the debut for again Troy yesterday. So it's going to be another football field exciting weekend right there in Africa. But we are keeping tabs on Ghana. Remember, they'll be taking on Angola today at the Baba Yara Stadium in Kumasi, and we're expecting a full house because yesterday I saw pictures from fans who turned out to see the Black Stars train, and that will give you an idea of what is going to happen today when the match proper takes. Of course, Naki Williams has told the supporters in Ghana, he said, "I'm home. Please turn out to come and see the Black Stars." And when, of course, Chris Sutton was asked about the starting 11, he said, "Today, when it's about time, you will see who is going to start." I'm sure he's keeping that very close to his chest. That was a very game that was played very well by Otoado while he was in charge. I remember the playoff with Super Eagles of Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians were really looking forward to Otoado releasing his list in that encounter, and nothing. Nothing came out until the D-Day. So I think Chris Sutton, perhaps you can say, is borrowing a leaf from what Otoado did. Remember that, of course, he worked under Otoado. So it's going to be very, very exciting. And we wish that the Black Stars will continue, at least from where they stopped, 4 points. They win in this game is going to take them to 7 points, and it's going to be a confidence booster ahead of the back-to-back, the return leg in Angola on Monday. And of course, we wish the Black Meteors all the best. They'll be taking on Egypt tomorrow. And for the under-23 team in Nigeria, they will be traveling to Guinea on Tuesday to play the return leg. That game will not be taking place in Guinea. It will be taking place in Morocco because of issue of facilities that we've raised. I remember that I think about 2 weeks ago, we talked about the fact that about 24 countries in Africa, about 24, they will be playing outside their national team, outside their country, I should say, outside their country in these qualifiers, just because they do not have facility good enough to host a qualifier. I think that is really, really poor. I think CAF should do something. Perhaps, maybe, I don't know, maybe just copy what UEFA is doing, or just borrow a leaf from UEFA, what UEFA is doing. Because when you go to countries like Macedonia, you go to small countries like Croatia, go to countries like even Cyprus, you see standard pitches, good enough to play qualifiers, whether World Cup or European qualifiers. But here in Africa, I don't know why Guinea, who we had the legend like Titi Camara played for, we don't have a pitch or a stadium or facility good enough to host an Africa Cup of Nations qualifier, where we had the likes of Poland who have hosted European Championship. I think it is not good enough. So facility should be something we should be working on right here in Nigeria. Also, please, wanted to react to Felix Afena-Gyan issue. Do you think he is right to have rejected the call-up to play in for the under-23, having played for the Black Stars before? And of course, the issue of the referee who was suspended for using a phone of a fan to review a game. In the absence of the VAR, what do you think about these issues? Please let us know in the comments section. This is where we'll be drawing the curtain on the show today. Like I told you, James Agberebe has been on official duty. So again, I've had to do this with you, not alone with you. So we thank you so much for your support. We do not take it for granted at all. We cherish your support. Please let us know what you think in the comment section. Thank you very much. Of course, we're about to review Ghana and the Super Eagles game after this time. Until then, I remain Ashalulu Afemi. See you all. Bye for now.